code rewrite using GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio 2026. This is part of a series where I rewrite an old application written in the old .NET framework. Now, this section is going to be the user interface for the application, and this will be done with Razor pages. Blazor is the cool front-end technology that can implement a single-page application, but at this stage, having tried a number of quick applications where Copilot has to do the implementation, it just kept on failing. So for now, I've chosen to go with Razor pages, which should be good enough for this application. As a recap, here is the solution excluding the front-end Razor project. It's a good idea to have much of the logic outside of the front-end project so that the data access code, the domain logic, these should all be in their own project. The organization of this application is in different projects, and this can work very well for any size of project, so you can use this almost as a template, especially if it's medium or large. So the organization is quite neat, everything in its own project. All that is really needed is for the UI project to have a reference to the services and the composition root projects. That's where all the dependencies are wired up. Now, for the prompt to actually create the user interface, first I have already created a shell Razor pages project in Visual Studio just to help Copilot and also to save some time, also as another reason to just cut down on the subscription credits. The prompt is written in a Word document, and the very cool part is that I don't really need to get too technical in describing the front end. I don't need to describe what every little control where it's placed on the page. And in this very high level project, which is going to be sitting on top of the lower level layers, there's a benefit of only needing to provide the AI with just the DTO or data transfer objects, and just simply how they should be ordered in the screen. So this Word document here, there's no wire up. I didn't have to even draw a sketch. I could only just tell it to use this DTO or this control or this member variable, and then just tell it how they're stacked up on the screen. Now, to prompt GitHub Copilot, let's just see what it has created. And okay, I mean, everything seems to be building, and to be fair, it's only going to be one page at this stage, so there shouldn't be any complications in any case. And just looking at the player lottery page, it looks fine. The code behind also looks okay. There's not too much cluttered code, and Copilot has also created some view models, which is good. So let's actually run it and see. And just from the start, it looks decent, and I will just start playing, and I will play with 1,000, select how the numbers will be generated. I will use historical numbers for the result. These would be the numbers that were actually sort of the winners in the past, and I'm just going to be selecting from a random pool of historical winners, like historical numbers that won in previously. Okay, everything is good. Now, if we go to the end result page, on this very first attempt, it shows almost everything. I love these net profit and loss. I've had to code this specifically in the domain logic in my services. So Copilot didn't just magically come up with what's here on the screen. So it's inferring this from the models that I have. And I now want to make an addition where the actual winning numbers and the tickets are also shown. So this is missing currently on the screen. I will need to actually make the code changes in the services and the domain logic. Once again, just prompt GitHub Copilot to make these changes. Okay, and let me try and play again. The updated page result, it's a little bit better, but it's still not quite there. At this point, I mean, this can become a continuous process where I just keep on refining with a prompt again, refining, having a look at what the page looks like. So I think I'll just make one more change, which would be to have a border around each ticket. So now let me just play again, and here's the page. So yeah, they do sort of look like tickets, and I mean, like I've said, I could go on refining this user interface until it's perfect. So that's it. GitHub Copilot was able to very quickly and very easily create a user interface using Razor Pages. This is more straightforward as compared to the more mainstream Blazor projects, where up to now I've not been able to get Copilot to successfully create a working project.